What's up, Exiles? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gore, and we are back with another Path of Exile video for you guys. It's been a little while since I've had a PoE video out, and I did want to kind of get caught up on what I've been doing in-game. So that's what we're going to do here. This video is basically going to be just kind of a quick recap of my most recent build that I played and finished up. And then at the end of this video, I'll kind of tell you about what I'm getting into now, the next character I'm playing. And then we can kind of go from there. So hopefully, look, I don't necessarily want to call this a build guide because, I mean, let's be real, there are plenty more PoE creators out there who have a lot more knowledge of the game than me, who are worth their salt as build guide creators. So maybe we'll call this like a template, maybe, on its best day. If it's something that you might want to try, I would recommend there's probably a lot of things you can do to improve on it and kind of push it into uber endgame content and like the higher end of the endgame, which is not necessarily my forte, right? I like to say I'm not a build creator. I'm kind of just the enthusiast who plays the game. So hopefully you like this video. Hopefully you like the build. Give me a like if you do. Drop me a comment. Would love to hear from you. And obviously subscribe for more gaming content just like this. I want to have more stuff like this out for you. So let's get into the game here. Basically, what I was trying to do is make use of this badass weapon. Rakiata's Dance is a new sword introduced this league. It's got a bunch of cold and lightning damage, a little bit of attack speed, but the kicker that makes it the item is that it treats enemy monster resistances as inverted. So you got to try and find a way to kind of build around that and make it cool. Now, first things first, before you even get into the specifics, the weapon is sweet looking. It is a killer looking weapon. I mean, with the way microtransactions are in the game, as you can kind of see, you can make this thing look absolutely sick. It's just, I mean, talk about skin transfer, and like, I don't know that I'll use another look other than this sword. Great look. Love the item. It's really, really cool. As far as how I used it, what I basically tried to pair it with is Shroud of the Lightless, which is this chest piece here. And the reason why I did Shroud of the Lightless, it gives you a little life and mana per Abyss Jewel, but it also penetrates elemental resistances per Abyss Jewel. And the way penetration and resistances work is that all the resistance calculations are done first, and then the penetration kicks in. So if you use the sword, and a mob has, say, 50 elemental resist, right? It inverts the elemental resist, and now you have minus 50, and then the penetration kicks in from there, so you can drop the resistance further from minus 50, right? So that's kind of what I tried to come up with. I tried to use Shroud of the Lightless, and that means Abyss Jewel stacking. So I tried to put as many Abyss Jewels as I could into the character. In truth be told, you can probably put more in here and really kind of build into it harder. I think I have 8, which gives us another 32 elemental penetration, which is pretty good. But like I say, you could probably do a bit more, leaning heavily into it. Now, as far as the Abyss Jewels, what did I use? I wound up having a bit of a crit issue. I was struggling. I didn't want to use the Crit Strikes gem the whole way. I want to try and find a way around that. And one way to do that is to use this Tekrod's Gaze Murderous Abyss Jewel, which gives you increased crit chance per murderous jewel affecting you up to a maximum of 200. And since we're stacking, I figured, well, we'll just use a bunch of murderous eye jewels, get up to that crit number, and then take it from there. So kind of a little play off that. You know, while we're stacking the Abyss Jewels, might as well take advantage of the benefit of Tekrod's Gaze, which, by the way, prior to this character, I didn't even know existed. I'm constantly learning in the game. Like, I'm constantly seeing items I haven't seen before. I'm constantly learning how things interact with each other. And I just kind of stumbled across this thing and went, oh, okay, cool, well, I can use it. And then I wound up stacking Brittle on my boots, and that kind of sorted out the crit situation. But long story short, so it's Rakiata's Dance. It is Shroud of the Lightless. It's Abyss Jewel stacking, and I just kind of decided to YOLO a Raider. I don't know. I just kind of like Raiders. I like being the speedy onslaught, frenzy charge, kind of evasion, spell suppression type thing. And honestly, for the more often than not, I take Raider because I just like phasing. Right. I think the game feels terrible without phasing. Not being able to just clear through monsters and walk through them, it just feels terrible to me. So I just like to use phasing, right? And we take as many kind of jewel nodes on the tree as we can for some abyss sockets. Like I say, probably should have leaned into it a bit more on this character, but you know, it is what it is, right? Uh, Went the usual paths down here on the bottom right, came up here for a little bit of life and crit, came over here for, I know I grabbed a couple of extra frenzy charges nodes, grabbed a little life, grabbed this extra projectile, and then we kind of came down here for the sword nodes and some of the prod stuff and life and yada yada and crit. Nothing spectacular, just kind of basic. So, with that being said, I'd like to introduce you to look at my big sword, the Rakiata's Dance Shroud of the Lightless Abyss Jewel Stacking Raider. Alright, the weapon is cool enough having one of them looking like this on your screen, but like, how about throwing 100 of them on the screen all at once? Like, that was what I, you know, it's a versatile weapon. You could do a lot with it. So it's something that I'll obviously come back to and do something else with, but I mean, one wasn't enough for me, so I just figured let's just throw about 1,000 of them on the screen. The only unfortunate thing about this is that it doesn't throw them with the MTX attached, right? I wanted to kind of throw the celestial kind of blue and purple themed swords around, but I guess we can't have everything, right? All in all, you know, it's pretty solid character for me. You know, it's a lot. I'll drop in this map in a second and kind of do a little gameplay, a little preview for you in a tier 16 map. Like I say, Uber content's a little out of my range, but just wanted to kind of show it to you in action. But basically, so again, we stacked murderous side jewels till we get to the 200, and then use kind of whatever jewel we can. Shroud of the Lightless. Use the Darkness Enthroned Stygian Vise Belt, which gives you increased effect of your socketed Abyss Jewels, and we tried to just find the best Abyss Jewels that I could at the moment, right? Trying to find these on the trade website is a bit tricky. You've got to kind of know what you're doing, and I just kind of tried to find the best that I could. I had to fill out some resists along the way, so I went with that. And then from there, you know, the rest of the gear, so I used the Blizzard Crown. It adds a bunch of cold damage, and I guess when they created the item, right, they initially treated this cold resistance as 10% higher as kind of a negative. But again, if you're inverting resistance, you want a mob's elemental resist to be as high as possible. So for this particular build, a Blizzard Crown kind of works by increasing the cold resists so that you invert it, and then obviously you further penetrate with Shroud of the Lightless. That was kind of my idea. Why did I go with Spectral Throw? Well, like I say, because I wanted to throw 100 of them, and that's basically it. That was all. That's I didn't. Once I put Spectral Throw on, I was like, okay, well, I found my skill. But you can really do almost anything you want that's a melee attack with the sword, right? Okay, so stupid me. Something I forgot to mention here before I kind of got ahead of myself was the gem links. So I want to just kind of quickly go over the gem links for you. So we got Spectral Throw here. I'm using Hypothermia, LE damage with attacks. Anomalous GMP just because I had it. I don't think you have to use Anomalous, but it does reduce some of the mana cost, and you do kind of need that a little bit. Also went Awaken Added Cold and Inspiration, since we are still using the little bit of mana we have. So that's kind of the 6-link setup we had going on in here. I am using a totem setup, War Chief Protector and multiple totems. I think in a general sense, I don't like Melee's reliance on ancestral totems in the game. I think it's something that they could improve upon greatly. I understand it's a bit of a delicate thing to do, because if they just take the bonuses away from the ancestral totems, you're basically nerfing every melee build indirectly. So, like I said this before, I don't have creative brain. I don't really know what the solution there is, but I know it doesn't particularly feel good, in my opinion. So I'd like to see some moving away from ancestor totems, but I just don't know what the solution is there properly. And as for the rest of our gem setup, they just want to get that in here real quick as well, using Herald of Ice for the neat, sexy Herald of Ice pops, and just in general more Path of Exile MTX. Those are You know, stacking damage buffs. The more MTX you have on your screen, the more damage you'll deal. Just kidding. We're Sniper's Mark on hit. Like I say, I'm using the totems in the setup. We're using Arctic Armor just for a little bit of defensive action and freeze immunity. I did put a 4-link Leap Slam setup in Shroud of the Lightless. It triggers. The Shroud of the Lightless also has this line here. It says trigger shade form when you use a socketed skill. So every time I Leap Slam, I trigger this shade form, which I think provides some sort of physical damage immunity for a little while. So figured the travel skill would be a good point to include in the chest piece itself. So it's Leap Slam with faster attacks, life tap, and power charge on crit, because I didn't really quite know what to do with it. And I didn't want to recolor it because I'm a lazy fuck, so I left it blue. The other ones, obviously Precision, Grace, and Defiance Banner. I'm pretty sure I took other stuff out of here for another character, but I don't remember what it was. But that's basically kind of the gem setup, and away we go. Alright, so here we are in our little Mapperino, and one of the things I forgot to mention earlier in the video is I stream all this stuff live on Twitch every day during the week. So, if you would like to check me out live on stream during the day, check me out on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Gormar. I'll put the link down in the description below. So we're going through this map. I'm just kind of showing you the gameplay a little bit. One of the things that, like, if you want to really push this and get this into, like, endgame and really, like, boss killing mode, I found is that you really need a source of slower projectiles, right? Whether it's the gem or some stuff on the tree. But I absolutely despise gem swapping in the game. I think it's absolutely horrific. It's one of the worst things about Path of Exile is gem swapping. So I just don't do it, right? Like, that's the trade-off I make. You'll also see in this video my absolute obsession and my absolute problem with looting. If it shows up on the ground, I have to pick it up. It's a problem. I need therapy. But that's basically you know, if you want to push the build, you definitely need, because you can see it's just the projectiles are, as cool as they look, they are just traveling a bit too far to stay you know, to stay kind of centered around the boss or around a single target enemy, right? So you kind of have to wait for them to return to kind of get some damage back. So in order to really do some serious boss killing with this, you need fairly slow projectiles. And other than that, I think this was a fun build to play. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. I hope you kind of enjoy my little scuffed attempt at making a Path of Exile build. I had fun with it. Like I said, I had fun playing with it. Is it you know, for me, was it the greatest thing in the world? Was it a super endgame pusher? None of my stuff really is, but certainly the possibility exists for you to kind of take it there with more investment and more knowledge and a lot less dying than me. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop me a comment. Would love to hear from you. Give me a like if you did. And obviously hit that subscribe button for more weekly content. I'll have more stuff for you. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next one.